What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your daily news report. So we have a bunch of good news that I want to bring to you. A lot of people were a little bit upset that there was not much good news over the weekend, so I decided, woke up this morning, hey, let's flip the script. Let's get to some good news for a change. So that's what we're going to talk about today. All I ask is if you enjoy these daily uploads, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. Let's get right down to it. So we have some good news regarding the economy, our supply chain. I also want to give you what's going on there. We got some good news that things are getting back to normal. There's $3.7 billion in stimulus payments that are still, people can still get. So you may be eligible for that. We got some good news for gas prices. Again, a lot of good news. So let's break down what is going on at this time. First off, recent reports have indicated that we are seeing our supply chain here in the United States correct itself. We are seeing shipping times, they are speeding up. You may see this if you order a product. Shipping costs are actually down compared to where they once were earlier on this year. And now we are seeing that there's a lot less congestion at the ports down in California. Again, this is all really good news. But I want to be very clear as to why some of these things are happening. Even though this is good news that the ports are not overloaded anymore and truckers aren't being tasked with transporting more cargo than they can actually handle, which obviously would only create additional backlogs. The bad news is that shipping is getting faster because retailers are not purchasing as much inventory. But the good news there is retailers are not expecting to change course anytime soon. It will probably be towards the second quarter of 2023 before retailers decide to really ramp up their purchasing. So again, the bad news is also good news. And as long as retailers don't all of a sudden just start buying up more inventory, we should be fine. And again, the expectation is it's going to be the second quarter of 2023. I don't know if it's going to be, April, or could it be in June? Again, we just don't know. But if large orders were to start rolling in, this could change the congestion at the ports very soon. So, or in a hurry. So just keep that in mind that it's good news right now that ships are coming in, they're being offloaded fairly quickly, and the products are moving across the United States. That's good news. We're not back to our pre-pandemic levels, but again, we are getting closer. And again, some more good news. Let's talk about the additional good news regarding stimulus payments. According to a recent audit by the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, there is still $3.7 billion that's owed to eligible taxpayers in the form of the child tax credit payments. There was about, I think, 1.5 million people in the United States, or million households, received a child tax credit payment even though they weren't eligible. But according to recent records, the IRS, they have not sent out about $3.7 billion to roughly 8.3 million households who are eligible for these payments. The good news is there's still time. You can still get these payments. It's still possible. As of right now, if you didn't get your child tax credit payments, you can still get this money up until November 15th, 2022. So we have a little bit over 1 month left where you can actually go and get your money. And in some other good news, Minnesota frontline workers are going to receive a one-time check of $487.45. Now, these checks were slated to start going out on October 5th, so 5 days ago. So you could actually be getting your check this week. That's good news for about 1 million residents in Minnesota that are expected to receive this frontline worker bonus. And let's talk about gas prices for a second, because again, we got some good news here. Over the weekend, I got a lot of questions from people and comments saying that, hey, gas prices in this area are $4.86, or gas prices in this state are, I'm paying $5.32. And so I got a lot of comments saying that. Also got a lot of questions as to whether or not I expect gas prices to go down. Now here's the thing. I'm not an expert on gas prices. I'm just a guy on YouTube reporting what I am seeing and what I'm hearing based off all my research. But I do have some good news I want to give you. Gas prices are rising. We know that, right? It's not a secret. Gas prices are rising everywhere you look. Now, here's the reason why. First off, gas prices are rising because OPEC Plus decided just this past week on Wednesday, they're going to temporarily cut oil output by roughly 2 million, well, not roughly, by 2 million barrels per day. But here's the thing that most people don't realize. OPEC Plus is currently underperforming their current quota by roughly 2 million barrels of oil per day. So their quota is, and I don't know their exact quota, let's say it's 10 million barrels per day, right? So it's 10 million barrels per day. They are pulling out 8 million. So they're underperforming by 2 million barrels. Here's what you need to keep in mind. OPEC decided last Wednesday they're going to cut their oil output by 2 million. Bring it down to 8. Okay? Again, 10 million, those are, I'm just pulling those numbers out of the hat, okay? But just keep in mind, that's what's happening. They were underperforming their quota anyway by 2 million barrels per day. So are we going to see less oil? No. We're not going to see less oil. Now, does this mean they're not going to ramp up and pull an additional 2 million barrels per day? Yes, they're going to have that limit. But again, that's what's bringing the price of oil. It's going to bring it up. But again, you just got to keep that in mind that it's not like our supply is really changing. It's just the potential supply. That's what's going to get hit. All right. So this cut to oil output, it really doesn't hurt too much. But again, it just puts OPEC Plus on track to hit their quota. So again, just keep that in mind. This cut, though, of 2 million barrels per day, this doesn't actually go into effect until November. And then they do have another meeting on December 4th. So we could see prices go back down as well. But again, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Another piece of good news, and I know a lot of good news in this video. One of the reasons why the West Coast is seeing higher price increases in gas is because the West Coast has multiple refineries that are down for maintenance, right? They have maintenance issues. That's the reason why. And we knew this. This wasn't a shock. This wasn't just out of the blue. We've known this for multiple months that the West Coast on these dates, that we're going to see a refinery shut down for maintenance. That was it. We knew that. We've been expecting that. So once the maintenance is done, then the West Coast could see gas prices fall once again. So here's the good news. On the East Coast, you're seeing your prices go up very slowly. Very slowly. On the West Coast, it just jumped. We're seeing 15, 20 cent increases in a day. But so it goes up 15 cents. On the East Coast, it's like 2 pennies, 3 pennies, 1 penny. It just goes up and up and up, just slowly, trickles up. But the good news is that once the refineries are back up and running, we are going to see prices slowly fall. So they will be in line with the rest of the country. Okay, that's the good news. The bad news is, yes, gas prices are still expected to go back up. And I just want to be very clear on this. At the end of this month, so starting on November 1st, we are not going to be, the Biden administration says we are going to be done pulling any oil from our strategic petroleum reserve. However, and this is the good news for gas prices, not for our supply, but for gas prices, the Biden administration says they're going to pull an additional 10 million barrels of oil from the strategic petroleum reserve. So we're going to see what happens there. This does mean that gas prices are going to go down. So again, good news, but the bad news is it's going to pull more supply from our strategic petroleum reserve. So that's what we know at this time. Again, a lot of good news here. Things are getting back to normal, right? But there's still a lot of question marks in our economy and around the world. So make sure you go ahead and like this video if you like daily uploads. Do me a favor also, consider subscribing and clicking that notification bell so you never miss an update. But again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.